Hey beer tubers, Ryan here. Gonna brew a new batch of beer. You can see there I'm doing an imperial stout. That's kind of the recipe I'm going for, but we'll see how it goes. So it's almost 11 o'clock and I'm gonna head on over to my local homebrew supply shop, and I figured might as well bring the camera along and take some video of getting the grains and some hops. I already have the Magnum on there, but and the rest of the ingredients. Alright guys, here I am. This is Mother Earth Brew Company. They are a homebrew supply shop and a nano brewery. So they do have a bar in there. They're open, the tasting room's open Thursday through Sunday, and then the homebrew supply shop is open Wednesday through Sunday. Actually, there's the business hours right there. I don't know if you can see that from the glare. But anyway, let's head inside here. So they have a lot of their grains in the front room. They've been doing a lot of rearranging of their stuff, but it's most of the specialty grains. There's some out there. Let's head over to this room. A lot of equipment you can buy. Extra, ingredients. I'm going to be grabbing some brewer's licorice if they have it. So they have all the tubing. Strainers, there's sanitizers, dried malt extract, liquid malt extract, flavorings, wood chips, all that kind of stuff. Typical stuff you see in most homebrew supply shops. Hydrometers. Right, so here's the main bay out here where they have all their refrigerator.
Let's plug it into Beersmith and see.
So,
let me find out first.
Yeast and hops in there. Imperial, yeast, and White Labs. White Labs is San Diego based, so they usually have a lot of that, and there's some dried yeast in there as well. And they have more hops elsewhere as well. Okay, so here's the bar area. I think they got all these barrels from Lost Abbey that we use for seats here, and they have some lounge chairs as well. There's the taps over there. There's their board. Right now it looks like pretty much all those beers are theirs except their one guest is Port Brewing's Midnight Sessions. But they do a lot of small batches. Here's their newer brewing system here. This one's actually much larger than the one they originally started with, and they've only been open not even a year yet. So they have that one set up. Bulk grain set up right there. And then they have 3 fermenters. I mean, they were using that one on the left there, that small one for a while. And now they got these 2 big boys. I think they're running on the glycol cooling systems to keep them temperature stable. So their kind of theme they have is, it's kind of like 70s kind of rock music, kind of that era, posters and stuff, along with breweries. So it's a pretty small spot, but kind of typical of what you see here in San Diego. Okay, there's the recipe. First up, we're going to do 2 pounds of roasted barley, and as you can see, that stuff is big time black malt. Okay, next up is chocolate malt, 2 pounds of that as well, and that's very dark as well. I get it out of the can. It's actually a little lighter than the roasted barley. Scooping this in. Okay, so black malt, black patent, whatever you want to call it, real dark stuff. Probably the darkest stuff that's going in here, so I'm gonna get a pound of that. Okay, last up, rolled oats or flake oats, whatever the hell you want to call them. But this is gonna add a lot of creaminess, really help with the mouthfeel of this beer. So I mean, as you can see, it looks just like oatmeal, really. So we're gonna do a pound of that as well. Just give a rundown of this. These are most of the sort of base malts and larger quantity malts out in these containers. So I'm going to be getting all that 20 pounds of Maris Otter. And then there's their t-shirt. So that's kind of the place here. I'm almost over here every other weekend trying out their beers, since there's always something different on tap, since they're doing such small batches here. Okay, back from Mother Earth, and as you can see, I have a huge bag of grains right here. This is about almost 25 pounds worth of grains. It's gonna be a big imperial stout. They didn't have brewer's licorice, so I just got the Star Anise, which is a pretty good substitute. For hops, well, these are gonna be finishing hop. I'm using the Magnum for bittering, and then I have Liberty at 4.5% alpha acids, and Fuggles. So they're 4.2%. So those are going to be finishing hops, probably going in maybe 10 minute, maybe I'll do like a 10-minute addition for one and a flame out for the other, just to give some aroma, a little bit of hop character on the end. And let's see, I went with the recipe called for the 1028 London Ale yeast from Yeast. So I have a smack pack of that, which I've already activated because I'm going to be making a starter here soon. So I'm just using dried malt extract for my starter. And I did stop by the liquor store and picked up some 2011 Bigfoot. Just hit stores, I think, this weekend, or this week, I believe. And then they also had in, which is awesome, the latest bottling of Ballast Point's Sea Monster, their Imperial Stout. So some good beers and some good ingredients here. Looking forward to brewing this beer. It's going to be the most challenging brew that I've ever made, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, and one last thing I forgot to mention, that I don't know how well you can see this, but that's 4 ounces of oak chips that I have marinating away in some Maker's Mark bourbon. So this is actually going to be an oaked bourbon imperial stout. So I will be adding this into the secondary fermentation, and we give a good 2 weeks fermenting, and then this is going to go in. I'm just going to put it in as long as it tastes good. So we'll see how that turns out. Alright, so what you're looking at is my yeast starter. What I did is I took the packet of yeast. I made a 2-liter starter, and I was afraid that since these guys are used 2-liter growlers, that wasn't going to maybe be too much for the one, so I split it up into 2, poured the yeast in each one. So they're all poofed up. Means the yeast are active doing their thing. So should be ready to pitch those tomorrow.